How you're going to do that, and basically I'll show you the direction we're going to go. So in Wednesday's folder, which, today, we are going to look at the practice of the brick wall. And tomorrow I will dive into like the actual project. You're going to see where we're headed with this, but tomorrow I will go through like the requirements and what we're doing, because we are working our way to something along these lines here. So when I go down here, notice it says graffiti breakout wall practice drawing. We need to know how to draw a brick wall, and there's lots of ways to do it. And you are going to have 2 different methods today to practice on one page in your sketchbook. And the whole point of this is to decide what works best for you, to figure out how to start rounding out and shading those bricks, and to get like a better feel. Now there's 2 ways. The first way, you're going to use a ruler, and the second way, you're going to do freehand. There is a video here you need to watch. Okay, it's going to show you how to do it. Push play here. I'm going to turn the volume off because you don't need to see it. Look, it's a minute 34. It's not that long. And it literally will show you, like, I would take a page out of your sketchbook. So you fold it in half, and then you're going to label it. It's going to be ruler side and then freehand side. And this is going to walk you through it on how to draw like these brick walls. Is everybody okay?
Oh yeah, just a chair slipped. It's not
okay, perfect. Then what you're going to do, sorry, there we go. You can see the example here, like ruler and freehand. Notice I also put the graphic organizer here because that's what this week's graphic organizer looks like. And you will need to download that to put like your graffiti letters, your name, your value scale, today's brick wall practice, and your final project. Now, when you start working on this, you're going to also want to go in and start adding your details and figuring out how to round it out. Because if you can see here, these look just like very square. Okay, it's just getting started on drawing the wall. But the magic in this is that value. And that's what we started working on yesterday. It's figuring out where you're going to go in and add darkness, figuring out this is the start of your final, figuring out where you're going to add extra cracks and details and shading along the edges, because your brick wall final is going to be large on a new sheet of paper tomorrow. And like I said, tomorrow I will go more into this, but I want you to see the direction we're going and the whole point of practicing and figuring out how to draw these walls and figuring out the best way for yourself. Because you will, like I said, tomorrow you're going to create a shape on your page, and you're going to fill that shape with the best style of your brick wall. Now, there's a lot of steps to this because a lot of students will stop here and it's missing. It's missing all of the shading. It's missing all the details. It's missing the rounded. It's missing the cracks. So you want to continue to add to it. And again, I will explain this tomorrow. And then the very last step of your project is going to be adding a funky embellishment of your choice. And what that means is, if I come back to the very beginning, because this is just your plan one, if I come back to the very beginning of the slideshow to the front, you can see here, you will be choosing a crazy embellishment to add to your final brick wall. And that'll conclude this week's work, if that makes sense to everybody. So to clarify, today, you need to be practicing this brick wall, figuring out how to work it. Once you've drawn the practices, you're going to want to go in and start adding your details, like just a little bit, to figure out how to make this work for you. So then when you start to draw your big one tomorrow, you have an understanding of, okay, like there's roundedness, and I like to show the close-up one right here. Like you can see they went it back in with their pencil. Even if you choose the ruler method, you can go back in with your pencil, adding like the stippling and the roundedness and the shading. Is this making sense to everybody today?
Correct. So the only expectation is to work on the wall today.
Yep.
Tomorrow they can start adding in their embellishments.
Well, tomorrow they'll actually create their final wall. Today is just this part here.
Okay.
Unless you get past this and you're done with everything and you're like, I can move on to this and I can start drawing my large one, that's totally fine.
Okay, sounds good.
And so that's why I also have this in here. If you get like super far, and because again, I don't want you to have to sit here and wait for me. And tomorrow and Thursday's folder is more in depth of the project and a lot more of the ideas. And I will be talking about like the embellishment part because that's the fun part and where it sets everybody's apart. Same with like the shape of the wall that you'll create and like how large it is. Today is literally just how do you draw the bricks?
Got it.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, and thanks for navigating for some students, because there are some students that have already started that brick wall, so they will be aware that they could step into their Thursday folder and take a look. But for others, it's your work time for sure.
Yep, if you jump into that Thursday folder. And that brick wall is like your biggest part of your grade for your summative because that is like bringing together all of this work for the week.
Sounds great.
Perfect. Let me know if anyone has any questions.